It's something to see all of you here after all these years and so many people back again. It's really something special. Years ago, we wouldn't imagine, family and girlfriends and everybody come to this, and now we have that. And I'll promise I'll try not to bore you. It's my honor and my privilege to talk to you today as we prepare to celebrate the tapping of our 25th class of scrolling. And to say that this is something that the fathers would have anticipated would be true. We meant to build something that was going to outlast us, that was going to live on this campus for generations to come. To say that we anticipated having so little hair left between us, I don't think.
Why you're pointing at me.
A living organization like Scrolling Key doesn't require a retrospective review of its accomplishments. The order is born anew every spring. It brings forth a new class of leaders to carry on our lineages and to wear our hats. Our alumni return in earnest to advise and support each class and stand as stark reminders that every man of this order represents a story told through time. Sharing that legacy that reaches back to me and to the fathers. That wasn't so impressive when we first started out. But now, a generation later, with successful alums spread all across the globe in every important professional field, I can say without equivocation that the state of our order is strong, it is thriving, and it is something that every single one of us should be immensely proud of. What the fathers created, you have grown. And it's right and proper that we celebrate that accomplishment and that journey today. But what exactly is it that we're celebrating? It isn't the hat, it isn't the lineages, it isn't the philanthropy, the shared confidences, the late night talks, the letters of recognition, the ceremonies, the late night ceremonies, guys, the history, the honoraries, or anything else that's tangible. We are celebrating something fragile, something that each of us has sworn to protect. It's the source from which all of those other things flow. We're celebrating this weekend the ideals of our order. 25 years ago, when the fathers gathered to write our governing documents, to write us into existence, we approached the task with a seriousness of purpose and a wisdom, perhaps, that was in spite of our relative youth. Our sole purpose at that time was to craft the order around the notion that excellence in action must be informed by diversity of thought. We understood that to mean that our order could not survive unless we codified the principles to which we aspired. What came from that understanding was an organization that from its founding made no distinction within its ranks regarding race, creed, sexual orientation, social status, or belief. None of that mattered to us because we realized, maybe in a peak of idealism, that those surface identifiers don't matter at all on balance. And they especially don't matter when what you're setting to do is to create an organization that seeks to include the very best men. When I look at the roles of our lineages, guys, I know that we succeeded in that task. Maybe we could have stopped there. We could have patted ourselves on the back. A group of privileged young white men creating a group that would grow to become one of the most diverse on campus. We could have left Dickinson with the knowledge that in our time, we were a little ahead of our time. But we didn't. We knew that diversity of thought demands honesty of purpose. The Order of Scrolling Key was purpose-built to provide an outlet for selfless and sometimes unrequited service. We understood, in the days before social media, that performative acts of service and altruism were just that. Attention-seeking applause lines that so often ring hollow. The men of our order, while they're here at Dickinson, do small things quietly that have maximum impacts in ways that are hard to measure. They clothe the poor. They feed the needy. They protect the vulnerable, and they mend broken things. And when they leave Dickinson, Each member of this order takes with him a piece of the light shared during his time here and causes it to grow wherever he lands. Consider the brother who anonymously provided scholarships to students facing financial hardships, quietly ensuring their success without seeking praise. Or the brother who devotes his holidays to volunteering in underserved communities, embodying the true spirit of service. These men are the living proof of our ideal. Genuine acts done quietly, consistently, and without expectation of recognition. The lessons of philanthropy and altruism fostered by the order have helped to guide the paths of our alums, our life-saving doctors, our justice-seeking lawyers, our inspiring teachers, our compassionate business leaders, and our selfless civil servants. Each carries within him a spark of the optimism that he felt when he first joined the order. And each of us could rest well in the knowledge that we've been a part of something special. And at least in some small way, for just a moment, we work to bend the arc of the moral universe ever so slightly to the good. But the members of this order do not rest on our laurels, because we know that honesty of purpose demands clarity of intention. When the fathers established the order, we set out to create an organization that would outlive us. That was an honest goal. To create something so good that it would last long into the future, and that our creation would echo our intent. In order for that to happen, though, we had to search the ancient past for a unifying theme. What we found there is the ideal that is carried forward to our time. It graces our hats, really cool ball caps too. Our bodies, and the family crest of John Dickinson, ancient as it was even to him. EQV, Esse Quam Videri, to be rather than to seem. We know, though, that that is only a small part of the larger whole, a written testament to the character of a student from his admiring teacher. Esse Quam Videri, bonus malvat, ita quam minus pedibat gloriam, eo magis illum seguitar. He thought it better to be good than to seem good, and thus the less he sought glory, the more it pursued him. We chose this creed as our highest ideal, the strongest of intentions for the order, to be rather than to seem. It's easy to say and really hard to practice. Esse Quam Videri stands as a reminder that what we believed at our founding still matters today. If we agree that excellence in our actions is predicated on diversity of thought, if we believe that diversity of thought requires honesty of purpose, and if we believe that honesty of purpose is driven by clarity of intention, then we must also agree that our times call for men like us and organizations like this. In this moment, when the rule of law is questioned, when scientific fact is held in abeyance by grifters, when the hard-earned value of the learned and wise is traded for the expediency of the moment, that is the time to look back and remember what we believed at our founding, that we could be more than our base instincts, that together we could do right and good, because doing right and good was its own purpose and its own reward. We believe then, as we know now, that organizations like ours and like most are made stronger by diversity. Diversity of thought, diversity of experience, diversity of belief, of creed, opinion, background, race, sexual orientation, and world experience. We know those differences, celebrated over these 25 years, have made us who and what we are. We know that because we've lived it together in this order and in this place. Diversity in this construct is neither sin nor controversy. We know it to be the lifeblood of our order, our communities, and our country. We are the products of the shared virtue of diversity, and we must actively work to ensure that others have the same opportunity to experience its value as we have. We also know that it is a fool's errand to lend our support to the constant battle to find, fight, and denigrate the other, because we know that that battle has at its roots an explicit demand for the blood sacrifice of our humanity. We rejected that false choice at our founding, at a time of terror and fear, when it would have been far easier to accept the expedient isolationist path. We rejected it because it was the right thing to do then, and it's the right thing to do now. What we believed at our founding matters today. The power of that founding echoes through time. It flows through all of us and holds us steady in this time, in your time. The power is sustained by our continual acknowledgement that remembering and celebrating our ideals is not a wasted effort. It's a guideline for the truth, a constant reminder that as men of this order, we are called to stand against the unjust, to lift up those in need, to honor our differences, to respect our diversity, and to thwart in as many ways as we are able the popular descent into tyranny. The opposite of these ideals is fear, silence, compliance, and complacency. And that is not who we are, and it is not who we have ever been. May it ever be so that membership in our order instills in us what it demands of us: courage. Over 250 years ago, John Dickinson wrote his legacy out. He said, "Honor, justice, humanity call upon us to transmit to our posterity that liberty which we received from our ancestors. It is not our duty to leave wealth to our children, but it is our duty to leave liberty to them." Dickinson was speaking of a fragile ideal: liberty, easy to neglect and hard to replace once it's lost. Institutions like our namesake's college and our organization are the protectors of liberty because they encourage and enhance the values in which freedom thrives. May it ever be so that the men of this order stand in stark relief to any force that seeks to degrade the values that we have carried and cultivated across these years. May we never be remembered simply for our ceremonies or our symbols, but for the courage of our convictions and the clarity of our purpose. Because the truth is this: ideals are not inherited, they are carried, and they are heavy. You cannot pass them along in a speech or etch them in stone. They have to be lifted, they have to be lived and protected again and again by those willing to be, not merely to see. When the world grows loud with anger and shallow with spectacle, may we still choose principle. When cynicism seems wise and moral compromise too easy, may we still choose truth. When the silence around us becomes the path of least resistance, may we still speak clearly. When comfort tempts us to sit still, may we still rise and stand. And when all around us rush to seem, may we still remember this place and our time in it and choose to be. Esse Quam Videri, not just words carved in an emblem or printed on a program. They are a challenge and they are a vow. Hold tightly to the keys of our order. Hold tightly to one another. Hold tightly to the quiet and steady light that we have nurtured here together, because we know well that the world beyond this place will test it and test us. There will be days when it will be easier to give in and to back down, to pass the burden on to someone else. On those days, I hope you remember today. I hope you remember the legacy that rests in your hands, not as a weight, but as a beacon. because you are no longer the inheritors of the order. You are its stewards, its defenders, and its voice in rooms we have not yet entered. Long after we're gone, when others ask what it meant to be a part of this thing that we've built, all of us together, may our lives be the answer. Congratulations, my brothers. Congratulations to you all. 25 years. Esse Quam Videri.